Hi y'all, welcome to Petite Weaver Crafts episode 20. I'm recording here today from Los Angeles on October 17th, 2016. I can't believe I've hit 20 episodes. It feels like yesterday I started recording this podcast and hoping that someone would actually watch me talk about my crafting. So thank you so much for returning viewers for coming back each week. And for new viewers, thank you so much for checking me out. This is a video podcast about knitting, spinning, weaving, and pretty much any crafty thing that you can think of. So this week I have a ton of stash. I have been shopping as if I went to Rhinebeck. I've been so jealous of all the pictures on Instagram. Hopefully for next year I'll be able to add it to my itinerary. I think Rhinebeck is one of those like knitting bucket list items, so I definitely want to go. I also have a finished object this week, some works in progress, and a little update for my hat knit along. So let's get started. I went to Boston this week for work, and I did manage to have some time to stop at a couple of yarn stores. The first one I went to is called Gather Here, and it is in Cambridge, pretty close to where I was staying. And it is a super cute, modern yarn and fabric store, and it pretty much has a little bit of all kinds of crafty things there. But yeah, it was a beautiful store, and they had a very good selection of yarns. There's more, it leans a little bit more towards like indie dyers as well as some local yarns. But they had a really nice selection, and I was very impressed. And I really like the aesthetic of their fabric choices as well. So first up is my fabric purchases. I found this gorgeous remnant in the sale bin. So it was 30% off since it was already pre-cut. This is about 2.5 yards of just a basic quilting cotton. But I adore this floral print on it. If you can tell, my general aesthetic is pretty girly, and I am a sucker for florals. So yeah, I picked that up. Like I mentioned, it's 2.5 yards, so I should be able to get at least a skirt out of it, maybe a full-on dress. Yeah, no actual concrete plans for this fabric yet, but I am a sucker for sales, as you'll be able to tell with the rest of my stash enhancements. I also picked up some more fat quarters for project bags. I'm pretty much planning a pretty big sewing session to kind of get some Christmas gifts out of the way, but my first color scheme that I picked was this super cute rain umbrella, light blue, and this dark blue navy swirl. That's going to be the outside of the project bag with this kind of small blue floral print as the liner. And then the other one that I selected was this super cute hexagon pattern with this kind of just basic geometric circles as the outside, and this super cute floral print for the inside. So as I mentioned, Gather Here had a couple of local yarns dyed by independent dyers, and the ones that I selected were from Knitterly Things. This is the Vesper self-striping sock. I've already started a project with this yarn, so I have it all nice and balled up. So the colorway is called Lightning in a Bottle, and the base is a superwash wool and 25% nylon base of 430 yards. It's a pretty fat fingering. It's definitely leaning more towards heavy fingering yarn. And the other one that I picked up from Gather Here was this gorgeous skein with pointed sticks, and this is called her glitter pen fingering base, and it is a 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and the colorway is Mermaid. How perfect is that, right? No plans for any of these yarns because I just got really excited when I walked into the store. The second shop that I visited before leaving Boston is Mind's Eye Yarn. Yeah, Mind's Eye Yarn is more of a super cozy feeling yarn shop. It's inside of, from the outside, it kind of just looks like a house. And if I didn't know it was on that street, I probably wouldn't have been able to find it. they had a lot more of your basic yarns in the shop, so a wide selection of staple yarns to use. But they also did have a couple of independent dyers there as well. I picked up a skein of yarn from Toil and Trouble, and this is in her Snapdragon colorway, and the base is also a 75% merino, 25% nylon sock base. And the skein just kind of called out to me. I love this color. No plans for this one yet, but I just really love the color. I also purchased a new project bag, and this maker is new to me as well. This is stitched by JessaLu, and the print on this bag was just super cute. And it even has this super adorable zipper pull, which is a bumblebee. It's very pretty. This is the sock size bag. Also, I picked up 2 skeins of yarn that were on sale. They were 40% off. And these are 2 giant balls of the Regia 8-ply. And this is a self-patterning worsted weight yarn. I figured I can make a pair of great house socks out of these for Christmas gifts. And 40% off. I'm such a sucker. I can't help it. But yeah, so that's all that I got from my Boston trip. I also got a new project bag in the mail from EweSewanSew. I've heard such great things about her bags, and recently she had a 10% off sale from her website. So I picked up this super cute sheep bag, and each of the little sheep have different prints on their bodies. I really like this bag, and this is her medium-sized zipper bag. You can probably get about 2 skeins of yarn in the bottom here, and then have your project on top, but it probably fits 1 big skein comfortably with your project. And right now, I just have a hat in here. So I also went yarn shopping with a couple of friends this weekend. We went to the Altered Stitch in Valley Village, which is kind of in the northwestern part of LA, and I went a little yarn crazy there. This shop probably has the best selection of independent dyers in LA. They have Countess Ablaze, they have Hedgehog Fibers, Dyed in the Wool, the Flying Kettle, and a ton of other ones. I can't even remember all the names. So here we go. First up is a skein of Dyed in the Wool. This is her She's Bad colorway on Sparkle Twisted Sock. Once again, this color just kind of called out to me. This was the first skein that I picked up. I love it. And it also has gold stellina. Most skeins have a silver stellina sparkle in there, but this one has a gold sparkle. So I had to have it. Up next, I purchased a skein, and the colorway is The Most, and it is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It is a sock yarn, and it's super cute. And this one is just like, I don't know, it's just super fun. I just picked up a ton of super fun skeins and have no idea what to do with them, pretty much. I'll figure out something eventually. So up next is my first ever Hedgehog Fibers purchase. I got 2 skeins of skinny singles, and this one is called Salty Tails, and overall it looks like a kind of charcoaly gray, but in the color there's also these speckles of browns. There's a little bit of blue in there as well as purple. It just has such a depth of color that I was super drawn to it. And it kind of goes with this other skein that I purchased, which is in the Shiver color, which is white base with some turquoise and hot pink speckles in there. So eventually these would turn into some sort of shawl, I'm sure, but no concrete plans yet. Next, I picked up a skein of Madelinetosh ASAP, and this is a super bulky single yarn, and I figured I could probably make a hat out of this. Super bulky, so it'll be super quick, and I just really like this kind of salt and pepper color, and this And this skein actually also has a little bit of gold, turquoise, and hot pink speckles in there as well, but it's super subtle. Oh, and the colorway is Optic. Still going. Like I said, I went a little yarn crazy this week. This is a mini skein from Flying Kettle Yarns, and the colorway is Bangarang. And yeah, this is just a fun little mini skein that I picked up right by the register. Don't judge. Please don't judge me. And from the sale bin, I purchased 5 skeins of Spud and Chloe. And this is the sweater base, which is a worsted base. And it is 55% superwash wool and 45% organic cotton. And the colorway is called Cider. These were on sale for 40% off. So once again, I'm a sucker for sale yarns. So I picked this up. This should be enough to make a sweater. This isn't a color that I normally select, but my friend said that it looks good on me. I have a slight opposition to this kind of burnt orange color because I went to Texas A&M and our colors are maroon. Our biggest rival is University of Texas, and their color is burnt orange. I think this one might be a little bit lighter than normal burnt orange, but I am going out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to make a sweater out of this. And if I don't absolutely adore it, I will give the sweater away. But I couldn't pass up on this amazing deal. And the very last thing that I picked up from the Altered Stitch is some yarn for charity knitting. I'm planning on making some knitted knockers, and that is just a knitted breast prosthesis that are given to breast cancer survivors that have had mastectomies and kind of want something to fill out their bras. So I was going to use this super nude color yarn for that. And it's organic and super soft, so hopefully that will help someone out there. I used to work in breast cancer research, and it's kind of crazy how many people are affected by it. So yeah, I picked up some yarns for that. Woo! Whirlwind of yarn purchases. I know. This has been a little bit insane, and I definitely should be slowing down for next week. But I am going to San Francisco. I don't know if I'll be close enough or have enough time to stop by a yarn shop, luckily. Alrighty, moving on. Finished objects. I finally finished my Sockhead hat. And this was knit out of a sock blank by High Fiber Diet. And this pattern is the Sockhead Slouch. And it is a free pattern. And yeah, it's just a basic stockinette hat with a large rib bottom that you can cuff up. Yeah, it's super cute, slouchy. Basic hat, super stretchy. It feels very comfortable. I don't love knitting with a sock blank. I think it's the ramen noodle-esque aspects of it. I can't get super good tension. For the most part, everything kind of blocked out, but I don't love the way it felt while working with it. So I don't know if I'll be knitting with a sock blank in the future, or if I'll just rip it all out, skein it, and set the yarn so it straightens itself out. But yeah, it was a good pattern. I definitely think I will be knitting another Sockhead hat. It's super comfortable to wear. It's so simple to knit, so it makes for really, really good TV knitting, or in a plane, in a car, waiting in lines. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, even if I didn't love knitting with a sock blank. Alrighty, on to works in progress. I showed you this yarn a little bit earlier. This is the Vesper sock from Knitterly Things, and this is the Lightning in a Bottle colorway. I have a second sock on the needles right now, and I am using some Chiagu DPNs in a size 0. And I actually finished the first sock on the plain. And this is the Smooth Operator sock. And this pattern is by Susan B. Anderson. And it is a top-down sock with a afterthought heel and a square toe. So yeah, I finally figured out my perfect sock formula, I think. This is a 48 stitch sock on a size 0, and I did about a 2-inch cuff stretched out, and for a total of a 6-inch leg, before I inserted the heel and did the toe. And I prefer the squared toe as opposed to a rounded toe. And this heel is a little bit long for me, so I'll probably remove a couple of rows at the end here. But yeah, it fits really well. I had been having trouble with having a leg that would stay up after I'd worn it for a little while. All my previous socks with legs on them, I didn't have an ideal cuff length, or the stitch count wasn't tight enough. They would get stretched out and like scrunch down to my ankles. And I don't normally like taller socks anyway, so like that kind of put me off of knitted socks for a little while. But I think with this smaller stitch count and a pretty good size cuff on it, this sock is going to fit me a lot better and stay up a lot better. And it's currently living in my super cute bead bag by Stitch by JessaLu. Up next is my Threshold sweater by Melanie Berg. This is knit out of Forbidden Woolery's Pride fingering base, and this is a wool nylon stellina base, so it has a little bit of sparkle in it. I left you guys off probably around here on the sweater body, so I finished about 3 more inches of the body and ran out of yarn from my first ball. So I started on the sleeves. I have 3 inches of sleeves done. I like to do my sleeves 2 at a time, so it's a little bit hard for me to show you guys the sweater right now until I get a little bit further along. I do my sleeves 2 at a time so I get all of my decreases matched up and I don't have to think about it so much in between the decreases. Yeah, it's moving along well. I got quite a bit of progress on it on the way to Boston this week. But yeah, I just love the way this texture looks, and I'm super excited to get a finished garment out of this. Moving on, so Clue 2 of the Building Blocks Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West came out last Friday. And this new clue has some 2-color brioche, as well as increasing and decreasing with that 2-color brioche. So I've never done 2-color brioche before at all, 1. And 2, I have never done decreases or increases with brioche knitting. So I had to really sit down and dedicate some time to watch Stephen West's tutorial on how to do so, which I think I've kind of got it figured out now. But I only have a little bit of progress on Clue 2. And yeah, you can see this brioche section here, and then it goes into just a plain garter section. But yeah, I really like the way this next section is starting to look. I think the colors are playing together really well. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention the color. This pattern is using 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. You can also do it with sport weight yarn, I believe. And the 4 colors that I selected, this dark purple color, which kind of looks black on screen, but it's really a dark plum color, and this is by Lisa Souza Dyeworks in her hard twist base, and the colorway is Marion Berry. The second color here that's lighter and kind of bluish is the same as this one, and this is Material Culture Fiber Arts in her Sugar Skull colorway. And this particular one is on the Mongolian base, which is a merino cashmere nylon. The third color is this gorgeous tonal purple color. This is by Oglier Yarns. It didn't have a colorway, but I picked it up from Imagine Knits in San Francisco. And for the last color, it's this lighter color in this section, and it's a little bit harder to see in this new section, but the color is by Material Culture Fiber Arts as well, and this is her Tangled colorway on her Modern Era sock base, which is a merino nylon tencel base. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this pattern. It's starting to grow quite a bit. It's barely fitting on my 32-inch circular needles now. So moving on, this past Saturday was the first day of my knit along. If you guys check out on my channel, there is a tutorial on how to do a slip knot cast on, which is my favorite cast on. There's been a few comments about how long it takes, but after you get used to doing the cast on a few times, you definitely get quicker and it's a little less difficult. But the end result is so worth it, at least in my opinion. Look how stretchy. It's super, super great. So the first project that I'm knitting for the hat along is this naked star hat. And the yarn is Material Culture Fiber Arts. This is her Pop Rocks colorway on Victoria DK. She is offering a free shipping code for you guys, PW free, for any of her Victoria DK bases. So you guys should definitely use it if you guys haven't already picked up some yarn from her. This pattern is the Naked Star Hat, and it is just a basic ribbed brim, and onto the top part of the hat, it is just a simple knit purl stitch pattern, and I just thought that this patterning breaks up the colors nicely, and the yarn actually works up as if it was striped, but I did not stripe this. This is just the way it's been knitting up, and I'm probably about halfway done with the hat. This is just a great pattern for me to kind of do mindless knitting on, but yeah, it is living. This hat is living in my brand new EweSewanSew bag. It's such a perfect fit. And here is the Pop Rocks yarn all wound up. So yeah, please use the hashtag PWC hat along so I can see what you guys are working on. To enter to win a skein of Material Culture Fiber Arts yarn in a colorway of your choice on her Modern Era sock base, please post a picture of your finished object on the Ravelry finished object thread, and I will link that down below. You can also win a project bag by me, and the bag will be kind of in this small shape, which is a 6-inch wide by 4-inch deep bag by 8 inches tall. And I'll be making the bag out of this set of fabrics. This fabric and this fabric will be on the outside, and this whole fabric will be on the inside. Thank you so much for all you guys who've already started knitting along with me. I am really, really excited. It's been super awesome hosting my first ever knit along. Yeah, I am planning on doing maybe a local meetup for the knit along here in LA. So if you guys are interested, please keep an eye out on the Ravelry group or my Instagram for more details. So last up, in one of my earlier episodes, I mentioned the Griffin Dye Works retreat that I went on this summer. It is a kind of crafty retreat with a lot of natural dyeing. So for this weekend, on October 22nd, I believe, it's the Saturday, they're having a fall frolic. So there's a day full of classes. I will be teaching the shuttle tatting class. So for the retreat, there will also be indigo dye pots. So I'm preparing a garment to be indigo dye. And indigo dyeing works on cotton the best. So I purchased this white maxi dress from Amazon, and it is a 95% cotton jersey knit with I think like 5% elastic or something for the stretch. And it is just a spaghetti strap maxi, and this kind of, it has like ruffle sleeves that go like kind of sit across your arm. And so what I'm doing is I have some resist tie techniques on this dress already. So this top stuff is garbanzo beans, or chickpeas, I think is the other name for them. And I just tied them all along the top here, and then up and then down lower I have some kind of glass marble like vase fillers tied there as well. So these garbanzo beans will kind of produce a little bit more of a smaller kind of ring, and the bigger glass marbles will produce a larger white ring. And the reason is when this goes into the indigo dye, where I tied them off, it won't get as much dye there, so it'll stay a little bit more white, and then everything that's exposed will turn the blue color. So this is a maxi dress, like I mentioned. I finished all the resist techniques that I was going to do for the top ruffle area. So my vision for this dress, like I said, this is a vision. It's kind of in my head, so I'm kind of hoping it works out the way I think it will. But what I did was I did a running stitch, kind of going wavy up from the bottom, and that will resist the dye a little bit to produce kind of a flecks of white going up in a line. And I also tied a few garbanzo beans to each side to kind of look like, you know, little clusters of, like, you know, the grape-looky things on seaweed sometimes. And then, so I only have 2 of them stitched up so far, but the plan is to have different lengths of seaweed going down the bottom. So at the bottom, I kind of stitched in what I'm hoping will look like a sand dollar. I did 5 little ovals in the center to kind of hopefully look like the little center part of the sand dollar. And then I did a stitch around in roughly a circle around that center star to hopefully look like a sand dollar. I don't know if this is gonna work. It might not, but I saw an image on Pinterest on how to do stitch resist for indigo dyeing. So I'm really hoping that this comes out the way I imagine it will. This was a like $20 dress, so it's not a super big deal if it doesn't come out the way I think it will. But it's a fun experiment. So wish me luck. I have quite a bit of work to kind of get a lot more going on the bottom of this dress, but look forward to seeing the results next week. But yeah, that's it for me this week. Life has been a little bit hectic, and I have a lot going on. But this is a little bit of a chaos of my own making. So it's been great. Please, please, please use the hashtag PWC hat along so I can see what you guys are working on. And check me out on Instagram as Petite Weaver as well to get probably lots of pictures of the retreat this weekend and how my dress is turning out. Thank you so much for joining me as always, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.